Welcome to Confidence Talks. This is season 2, where we talk all about happiness, what happiness is about, how can we truly be happy, and how can we attain that rather than think it's something we go looking for. And in this, we've kind of broken our topics into mind, body, soul, and today we link into body. So we have a very special guest here today. We've got Tracy, who is a
Hi.
personal trainer.
How are you?
Great to have you, Tracy.
Thank you.
I've known Tracy for quite some time now, and honestly, as personal trainers go, she really is fantastic, and you just have to look at her client base to kind of see that. But we're very, very lucky to have Tracy on the couch with us today. So what we're going to be doing with this session, guys, is we're going to be recording it into 2 parts. So part 1 is going to be all about fitness. So actually talking about fitness, talking about health. We're going to cover quite some really, really good meaty topics in there, pardon the pun, so you can walk away with something really tangible, and I'll let you know what we're going to cover on that in just a moment. In part 2, what we're going to be doing is talking more about the health side of things, so healthy eating, the right supplements to be taking, etc., things like that. So for part 1, where we talk all about fitness, what we're going to be covering here today, guys, is we're going to be talking, first of all, a little bit about Tracy's background so we can understand what she does as a personal trainer, and actually why do clients come to her, what are generally the reasons they come to her for. We'll also be talking about the importance of fitness and what we actually mean by fitness. We hear these kind of buzzwords all the time, like healthy eating or health or fitness or weight loss. So it's really important to understand the difference in what we mean when we talk about fitness. We're going to be also talking about some of the barriers that we might be facing. You might be a fitness fanatic, you might be absolutely fantastic going to the gym or doing your workouts regularly, and you might be in a very, very good place with your fitness. You may be actually starting up for whatever reason. Maybe you've not really ever looked into your fitness. Maybe you've had a gap, for whatever reason, and you're kind of restarting that journey. Maybe you're kind of partway on the journey, whichever one. If you are having some challenges, some barriers, we're going to talk about some of those with Tracy and how we can overcome those barriers to make sure that fitness does stay at the top of our agenda. And then what we're going to do is Tracy is going to give us some simple workouts. So again, whether you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced, some really good kind of tips and tricks where you can start your fitness journey. Does that sound good?
That sounds good to me.
Okay, fantastic. So I suppose to start with, over to you, Tracy. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm 58 years old. A lot of people look at me and wonder, how good or why I look like that.
I was one of those.
Well, yeah, you were.
When she told me, I was like, I asked to see a driver's license. So yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah. But I've always been in fitness from a very young age, and not a lot of people are in that same respect, and I get that. But I grew up playing football. I played national premier football, but unfortunately, at the age of 32, I broke my leg, and that was through a injury through football. Someone took me out in a tackle, and I ended up 13 weeks in plaster, which obviously made me reassess my life about I was going to be 13 weeks off work, and how was I going to rehab my leg. So that's when I really started to delve into a little bit more about how to look after my body, because when I was 30, that's 26 years ago, food had already been starting to deplete. So that's when I seriously thought, do you know what, I need to get into the gym. I need to learn how to rehab my body, because going to hospitals these days, they don't give you the right information, or they don't give you the right support or enough support. So I think we have to take ownership of our own fitness levels and our own health. So I ended up deciding to go and do my own personal training session, PT, to learn as a PT, which I did in 6 weeks. Did the course in good colours, as they would say.
Wow. And you did that while your leg was in a cast?
No, that was just after.
After, I was going to say, you did rest.
Yeah, no. It took me 2 years, to be fair, to get back to proper fitness levels to where I was at. But then, prior to that, my fitness levels were very high. So anybody else, it probably might have taken a lot longer.
Yeah. Well, a break, it doesn't matter what, I mean,
yeah,
but it was both bones, you break, but...
Tibia and fibula, so both bones at the bottom of the leg, plaster, full to hip, 4 weeks and 9 weeks from knee down. And obviously on crutches. And at that time, I also had 2 children. So I had 2 children to look after as well, and had a full-time job. And that's why I recessed, looking at what I wanted to do. And I think from learning a lot at that stage really helped me understand when people do have injuries, how they can actually train when they do have injuries. Because obviously I trained all the way through with a broken leg, so I used my upper body to keep the strength in there, and then obviously had to work on the legs once it was out of plaster.
Otherwise you're kind of starting from zero again.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of people actually have an excuse for sometimes. They will phone up and say, oh, I've hurt my leg or done something to my knee or whatever, and I say that's fine, because
The rest of you's fine.
rest of you's fine. We can work on you on the rest of you. Yeah. Because it's body's a very powerful thing, and it uses its own endorphins to heal just as much as well. But I also will look at people to find out why they've got an injury to their knee. Everybody feels it's the knee, that's the issue, and it actually may not be. And probably 90% these days is all coming from the back, and it's because of the way technology is, that we are sitting on computers, we are looking at mobile phones, we are driving around in cars a lot, we're sitting at a desk all day long. We are now putting our body in a different position, working all day long than we used to. Years ago we used to be manual. I used to work on my feet all day long. So there's a definite different trend of the way our bodies are now dealing with the activities day to day. So it's so important that people do some form of exercise. Now, everybody's at a different weight, everybody's at a different fitness, but I always have a really good word called, or 2 words called exercise snacking. And exercise snacking can mean that you are just, what we normally do, instead of eating every now and again, we will exercise every now and again during the day. So by the time you've added up all those little snippets, you probably would have worked out for maybe an hour, but we've done them in 10-minute slots. And we tend to work out a lot harder when we're only doing 10 minutes. So if we went for a walk, it's a quick brief blast, rather than half an hour and we've done it at a slower pace. And we cannot out-train a bad diet either. Everybody feels that they can go to the gym, work out really hard, and then reward themselves when they come back. It just doesn't happen that way, unfortunately. But we're building our body to give ourselves a longer lasting life, because muscle that we have surrounding our bones is so important, especially as we get older. Our appetite drops off, we tend to do less exercise, and then our muscle mass diminishes, and it's something that called sarcopenia that comes up, and that's in the older age. So it's really good to encourage people to start early, no matter whether they are heavy, light, whatever it is, old, young. If we start them at a younger age and get them interested in any type of activity. So it doesn't have to be the gym. A lot of people feel to work out they've got to go to the gym. I can take somebody to the park and have some fun, but we can still have activities. But what we're doing is still working all the different muscle groups. So I like to encourage people to learn that we can do things inside and outside. And that they can do it on their own too. And even from their own front room. A lot of people are now going online, looking at different classes. The one thing I would say is, if they're doing that, you can end up getting yourself injured, because somebody is not actually physically one-to-one watching you. That's where I come in for a personal trainer. I do online classes, but I do them very, very personally with people, or if I do a small class, it will be 2 or 3 people at the most, because I like to watch everybody, what they're doing, and I'll make sure their techniques are right. You get the wrong technique and we can have problems with knees, backs, and so on.
So it's absolutely counterproductive in that case.
It certainly is, yeah. So there is about a personal trainer and a personal trainer, if you want to say. You can pay, if we all feel that sometimes we're paying a lot of money for something, as long as they're worth it, then go for it. But if they're not, and they're not giving you all the stretching to warm up, to cool down, taking things to take home, checking that you're doing things at home, like drinking plenty of water, that your foods are in a good place, that's what I do as a personal trainer. It isn't you just turn up and do some exercise. I need to know all about you so that I can help you.
It's one piece of the puzzle, isn't it?
It certainly is. And when people have off days, people can turn up, not really able to walk through the door, that you expect them to be the same every time they come through that door. And if you get to learn to know somebody, you know when maybe it's not a good day with them. or
Yeah, because life happens. You have things going on as well.
absolutely, yeah,
And one thing, absolutely, since not just since I've been doing kind of like confidence talks, but generally, I'm also doing a neuromindfulness coaching course.
yeah,
I'm also doing mental health first aid. What I have learned is everything is linked.
100%.
You know, your mental well-being to your physical well-being to your motivational levels, your eating, it's all interconnected.
Stress is one of the biggest factors, I believe, and in this day and age, there's a lot of stress. Stress about paying the bills, going to work, pressures, you know, from your bosses above you, just your own family life, how you're going to provide for them, you know, and the peers against, you know, your children come home and it's so-and-so's got, you know, a pair of shoes and they want them, you know, and you feel pressured all the time. Stress actually affects the body. Oxidative stress, it can make you ill. So it's all about, as you said, a bit of mindset. So it's learning to have that little time out, and maybe 5-10 minutes, even just listening to your own breath. People don't see it as very important, but it is one of the very most important things to do. And also, when we get up in the morning, we stretch, even if it's 5 minutes. We go to bed, we're very stiff. We get up, we put our clothes on, we go to work. We sit in a car, we sit at a desk.
You need to allow oxygen in. So you need to almost like open up your body, open up your muscles.
And it's just making people aware of just those little, what we call nuggets. Nuggets of knowledge. And they're so powerful as the day goes on, you know, that if they did have that 5-minute stretch, how much better they feel later on. You know, if they drink water during the day, knowingly that the water helps with our oxygen in our body as well. But also, when we need to rest and listen to our body, we need to rest and don't end up burning out our bodies or getting too stressed out or getting in this hamster wheel of driving on every day. We've got to get through this.
Keep going.
Keep going.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, the body will give up.
First time you take a holiday, then what happens? You get ill.
Exactly.
Because you've stopped.
And our immune systems drop as well.
We're going to make sure that our viewers absolutely leave with these key nuggets, simple things that they can do. Because you're right, Tracy, when you think about fitness and you think PT and you think all of these things, the first thing, especially at the moment, that comes to people's mind is money. But I can't afford a really expensive gym membership. You don't need a gym.
No.
You know, I can't afford a PT. Well, what you're going to do is talk to us about actually what is the relevance of a really good personal trainer, what is a good personal trainer about, and then people can kind of prioritize, and even if it's not something they want to take a step towards today, they can focus on other key nuggets you're going to be leaving us with what you can do. You know, that doesn't necessarily cost money, but what can you do kind of on your own as well.
I think if everybody thinks about themselves as their own body weight, our own body is the powerhouse to our muscles in our body. Just simple exercises at home, and if we actually made a note in our diary to every day repeat something, so that it becomes a content, absolute habit of, because we have lots of habits.
But we do. Exercise, not the good ones.
Exactly. So habit is one of the best things that we need to have, and what I would personally say is I could help people with just normal lunge, squat, going down to the floor, getting back up. Maybe it's a press up. It could be a press up against the wall. You don't have to be doing it on the floor. But simple little exercises, starting off with small amounts of repetitions, building those repetitions up. Or it could be time elements that we put together. But we don't need to exercise for hours a day. If we actually had quality exercises rather than quantity, you will find that you'll get more benefit out of that, and then it becomes more doable. And if we then said, right, well, I have a target for the day, 100 squats, 100 lunges, we do 10 then, and we do 10 of those then, and then later on we do another 10 of them, another 10 then. By the end of the day, you would have done 100. But when we think of it as 100 in one go, it's too much for some people. I can't do that. But if you reduce it all down, you know, I believe that people just need to quantify things. And when they start doing that, it becomes, I can actually do that. And people get more confidence, and then they do it as a habit then. It's get up in the morning, 5 minutes now, I've only got to do it for 5 minutes, or I've got to do it for 10 minutes. We can all get up 10 minutes earlier. That's one of the biggest things that people give me excuse for. I haven't got time.
Yeah.
We sleep for 8 hours, we work for 8 hours. That's 16 hours of the day. We've still got 8 left.
Yeah.
We're only going to eat 3 times a day, generally. We'll talk about that later. But that leaves us another 5 hours. We all have time. We just don't always put the priority in.
You hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
I have a saying. So when this thing about I don't have time, you're right. Everybody has the same amount of time in a day. Nobody has a fraction of a second more than anybody else. But it's what you do with that time. So actually, my challenge to you guys listening out there is whenever you feel the need to say, I don't have time, actually switch it up to saying, it's not my priority.
Yeah.
Because that's actually what you're saying.
Exactly.
And by saying it's not my priority, you kind of check with yourself, well, should it be? And it might not be, which is fine. So rather than, it's not easy to do, like, to tell that friend I don't have time, instead of that you can't really say to them you're not my priority.
Yeah.
But at least if it's straight in your head that, well, that's not my priority, so that you're not constantly telling yourself something debilitating like I don't have time.
No.
Which is not true.
No.
Instead, you become actually more empowered because
Yeah.
you're deciding what is your priority and what is not.
Correct.
So absolutely. So first of all, it's great to learn a little bit about you. Tell me a little bit more about, so you've been a personal trainer for how long?
Just over 10 years doing it in my own business. I've been doing personal training for a lot longer, but I actually took over and did my own business, started to do my own business. And the reason I did my own business was I always like the personal touch to people. And I feel that if we go into gyms, we get this larger group of people. I cannot ensure that every single person is going to do the exercise completely as they should be. I do not want injuries with people, and I actually like to get to know people on much a more personal level, because I know what they will like then or not like. And the more I find things that people like, the more someone's going to put into that exercise.
That's a great way of seeing it.
Because not everything is designed for everybody. Everybody feels that's why sometimes people don't turn up to classes. Oh, I could never do that, it's just too difficult for me. Well, if they were shown actually doing it on a low impact or a different way of doing something, they probably might feel part of that class, but they haven't got that confidence to ask the instructor because there's 10, 15 other
or
people
it's
in
not
there.
expected that it's going to be personalised
Exactly.
because it's a class.
So
okay.
I help people on their journeys, not only with just doing the personal training with them, but I do it so that at some point I want them to go out on their own and not have me to be there all the time, so that they build their confidence up and they can go. So when they go on holiday as well, so, you know, people like to exercise because they've got nothing else to do. They might as well go for a little walk, or they actually might find that they want to go and walk up some stairs and come back down again and do half an hour while they're on holiday, or get in the swimming pool. I might be able to show them the exercise they can go in the swimming pool. There's lots of different things I can help people with, and especially the stretching. I find probably the most important part of exercise is people don't warm up, and the biggest one is they walk out of the gym and they don't stretch.
I see it in the classes all the time. I do go to the gym, but the reason I do is not just, I don't feel like I have to go to the gym to work out, but I enjoy the environment. I enjoy classes. I enjoy kind of using the spa facilities. That's the reason I go, not because I feel that's the only way to work out. But what I notice in classes is people are in such a rush to leave, they don't stay for the cool down and they kind of rush off.
And to be fair, cool downs in classes are 5 minutes tops. It's not long enough.
Not really even that, it's like 30 seconds.
It's not long enough. It's way off of where we should be, and that's why people get injuries. And you know, the biggest problem people have got are lower back and glute problems, and I only have to touch people on the side of here, down the side of their legs,
and they're like,
they're going like, oh my god. And I'm going, yeah, your T-bands are tight, you know, but it's connected to your glute, that's tight. I'll start rubbing them around the back of the head, and then I'll get them to go to their toes. They can't believe how far they can stretch now, because this is linked to their glutes. So it's all about muscle activation as well. And that's another thing that I help and support people with. I'll give them some exercises at home, how to switch their back off. All really simple ones, but whether they do or not, it's now given to them as a responsibility, because I'm trying to give them the ownership of looking after their body, but seeing that actually they don't have to go to an osteopath or a massage person all the time. They can do a lot of this themselves, and it wouldn't cost them any money then.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
just their time.
Well, also by you showing them some of these stretches and things, what they previously thought, well, I can't do that. Actually, what you're doing is improving their ability to be able to do things they couldn't actually do.
Yeah.
So actually, you're improving their fitness before they even start
100%.
doing the workout.
100%.
And I can see that you're actually dressed appropriately. So if we need to,
Yeah.
and we wanted to just show them some simple warm up and cool down techniques. Are you game for that? We can do that.
Yeah,
a little bit
100%.
later. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can do some simple things.
Yeah.
Because these things are harder to explain than they are to show.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked quite a bit about naturally, actually, and that's what I love about when we talk, it just naturally flows. We've talked a little bit about the importance of fitness, and how it's linked to everything. It's not just about, oh, I really want to be in great shape, or I really want to fit into this, or it's not about that. It's actually to be able to just even to enjoy your life.
Yeah.
To just live your life, do your role, do your job.
I think there's a saying which I say to people so that they understand that more is love the body that you've got and work towards the body that you want.
Yeah.
Right? If you think of it like that, you won't feel that, you look in the mirror and you think, oh God, I've got so much to do. Just love what you see.
Yeah. And then
because eventually you'll get to where you want to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. It might take you 2 months, it might take you 2 years, but you know what? If it's there and you want to get there, you will get there, but it'll be in your time because it's how much you put into it, how often you do it, will get you to where you want to get your goal. But it's down to you again as ownership, how fast you want to get there.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
don't not love what you've already got, because at the end of the day, if you start off on a negative, you're never going to get to where you want to go.
And that's the foundation. That's the
Correct,
foundation that you're
absolutely.
basically building.
Always
on
be
and working
positive
on.
about things.
Yeah.
Even if it's, I did 10 press-ups today, that's all I did. Actually, that's a positive. That's 10 more than you did before. Yeah. So just don't ever make anything that you do a negative. It might not be enough what you wanted it to be, but at least it's still a positive.
I think we are quite tough on ourselves sometimes, aren't we? I know I've done it in the past where, I must make that gym class because I haven't done my 3 for the week or whatever it is, and really beat myself down about it, rather than think, well, hold on, I did 2. If I'm not quite feeling like going today, I shouldn't feel guilty about it. I do, incredibly.
Absolutely.
It's almost like, but I'm suddenly gonna go backwards 10 steps if I don't go today.
It's a real big one that I go when I go to the gym, because obviously I don't train my own gym. I'll go somewhere else so I can have freedom to do what I want to do. But the biggest thing I hear when I go to classes, oh, I haven't been for 2 weeks. Oh God, I only got here once this week or whatever. And I just think, well, at least you're here. It's better than not being here.
Yeah, absolutely.
But everyone always takes the negative rather than the positive side of it.
It's human nature. It's
Yeah.
just how we are.
But if you didn't get here, you could have done something at home then.
But if somebody else said that to you in your class, you would say, that's all right, you're here. Look, you made it.
Exactly.
We're tougher on ourselves.
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about kind of the importance of fitness. What I really want to do is really clarify what we're talking about, what we mean when we say fitness, because some people might think, okay, is this about building muscle? Is this about losing weight? What's this about?
Yeah.
We're saying fitness. So what does fitness mean to you? What are we talking about here?
Right, so fitness to me is all about long-term health for your body. Yeah. So it doesn't mean that we should have an aim of thinking about, people will think that I need to lose weight. Yeah. But actually, I could be the same weight I am now than I was if I had more fat on my body, but I've got more muscle. So I'm actually heavier, but I've got more muscle because I'm building lean muscle tissue. I think the key is to people is if you train with weights, rather than thinking about going a long distance with things, what we call slow duration type of training, you only burn a very pinprick of fat. But if you actually do more high intensity but dipping in and out of doing some exercises, work hard for short periods, have a little rest, work hard for short periods and have a rest.
Yeah.
That burns more fat within the body, but it also strengthens your heart.
Yeah.
And it builds lean muscle tissue.
Okay.
So the other, and to add on to that, do weight training. You don't have to do heavy weights. I don't do heavy weights. I just go for lots more reps on a lower weight because then I've got less chance of injury, but I'm still working the body. But using your body weight is the best thing to use, because that's far heavier than any little dumbbells
Yeah.
that you would use. So work with your body quite a lot, even if it means getting down on the floor, get back up, a real good exercise. And you do 10 of those, and some people, the heavier you are, will struggle for those.
Yeah.
But that shows you a great exercise that does every muscle group in your body. Okay, then someone might say, well, actually, I've got a problem with my knees, you know. Well, okay, well, we can just sit down on the chair and stand up off the chair.
Yeah.
How many times do we sit watching the TV when the adverts turn on? 3 minutes, adverts, up and down, there we go. By the end of an hour's program, we've probably done 20 minutes exercise.
As you said, it's about the posture, it's how do we get it, because we take so many shortcuts, don't we? In the way we bend down to pick something up, or we stand up, we take a lot of shortcuts.
Yes.
Which is actually, if we just did our everyday activities but did it with the correct posture,
Correct.
which kids do,
Yeah.
like children actually have the best posture,
Yeah.
and then we lose it as we grow up.
Because we become less flexible.
Yeah.
That's what happens. But also, we get into bad habits because we bend over to reach for things.
We're quick.
Yeah, we're
fixes,
quick, yeah. So, you know, but the one thing when we do squats and lunges and things is all about keeping the body upright.
Yes.
Yeah.